Hello.
Hello.
So many people. Welcome to a new UC Live. Philip, you
Yeah.
want to say something too?
Yeah, welcome. We're very excited and we hope yeah, you have many we're all excited about 26.1. So I hope you have all many questions. Really, if you're on LinkedIn, you could consider coming over to YouTube. I posted the link in the comments because sometimes LinkedIn has a big delay, and that's, for example, last time we asked, "Are there any questions?" There were none. We finished the stream, and then like a few minutes later, just the people who had such delay, the questions arrived. So maybe switch over, but other than that, we can start.
Okay. So let me quickly share my screen. And yeah, so we are very excited about the release of Apex 26.1. And the biggest feature in there is called APEXlang. And I think most of you have already seen this. But for the people who haven't seen it, let me show you what it really looks like. So APEXlang is basically a new format for your Apex applications. And when you export it to APEXlang, you have basically all files. And so here are pages, and I can look at the definition of my app. I can look at the pages just in plain text, just with files. So this is the new thing when they talk about APEXlang is basically this. It's a human readable text export format for your Apex apps. And many of the files are done like APX. But for example, like images, you might wonder what about that? So there's a whole section here, static files, and you find all the things in here. So images, JavaScript, all the static files are here. We have shared components, supporting objects. It's all in this new folder structure for APEXlang. And so we tested the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like since the start, we tested this new way of doing things. And for us, this is the biggest shift in the history of Apex. It's a whole new way of working using 100% files. What it also allows you to do is like version control everything. So version control your apps. So why is this really important? If you want to use AI, AI is really good to work with files. So all those coding agents, they can just work with those files. And it can generate pages, regions. You just describe what you want. And if you read my blog post in the beginning of the year, I basically said like English is going to be the language or the programming language of the future. And I still believe this is really that is true. And of course, like when we test it, like this should now work. And as of course, in theory, it works. But actually, it does works. But there are some challenges. And so the first challenge is that nobody knows about Apex 26.1. Oracle kept it as a very much a secret. As a community, we were maybe sometimes a bit frustrated, or why is there no communication? But like it was like that. But the consequence was that nobody knows about this APEXlang. The LLMs that got trained, they have no idea what it is. So how does it then work if we want to play with it? And so what Oracle did is they provided some skills, it's called skills, that teach the LLM how to work with APEXlang files. And when we first tried it, like this APEXlang and using Claude, for example, it had to guess a lot of times. And it had to reread things, and like it really needed more guidance. So like looking at the skills is like one thing. The way to get those skills is also very easy, the way they did it. Let me quickly go here again. So in here you can say skills sync, and then like basically it gets and grabs the skills from the Oracle website. You can also clone the repo. Yeah, like many of the things are included in there. There's also an update being done, but it still doesn't feel right. Like I can show you here an example, like when I played with it. So here I was using the World Cup application and I asked Claude like, hey, like update this. And so it created a plan. And here it said like, okay, we're going to remove Bootstrap. Like this is something that I had in the app. It was going to remove Bootstrap and like it came up with a plan and it followed that along. And then it was going to run Apex Validate and things worked. But like when you read like everything that it is doing, it has to reread like the skills. It has to reread. It has to teach it again. Like how do I add, for example, a region? How do I use universal theme? Like all this like consumes a lot of energy or a lot of tokens, we call that. But yeah, so this was really what initial was. So every new agent session, they have to reread the skills and they have to learn the language every single time until like the models, they include APEXlang as a native language. So here we put down lots of tokens. It's also very slow. So it took 15 minutes to like, let's say, add a region and a couple of pages. And then like what we saw is like like there were some bugs, but being honest, like the agent can correct itself. So Claude can correct itself too, if you tell it to do that. So we thought there was a better way, and Philippe came up with like a new way of dealing with this. So Philippe, like maybe you can share what you did.
Okay. Oh yeah. I was not at the right slides. So yeah, I had some idea, and like we all know and love the page designer and how we used to develop Apex apps. And think of the create page wizard. What does it do? And the nice thing is that was already like a generator. So we don't have to hand create everything in the page designer. We just answer a question. So for example, we want to create a new page with an interactive grid. What does it prompt us? Okay, select type interactive grid. Which table? Select a table. Is it editable? Yes or no? So some attributes it already asks you, but not everything, just the core ones, just a few ones. Add this new page to the navigation menu or a breadcrumb entry, yes, no, etc. So it simplifies creating a big step into a single small action. And then in the background, of course, it does a lot of things, creates a lot of objects behind the scenes, and that makes it for us easy to just create a complex new page. Yeah, and if we just take this concept of the create page wizard and apply it or make this available for agents, and that's what our UC Apex tool does. So the idea is don't make the agent learn the language every session. So as Dimitri just told you, every time you spin up Codex, Claude Code, GitHub Copilot, whatever, these models have not been trained on APEXlang, right? APEXlang is completely new. It will take years until they are really confident with writing their own APEXlang files. So currently the skills approach is every time they have to read through the huge documentations of how APEXlang is built up, what needs to go where. It's a parsable programming language, literally. So any typo, any wrong character in the wrong place is already an issue. So it reads all these things every time, and that's just inefficient. So the idea is give it a tool instead. And if you think of also again Claude Code, Codex, etc., they use tools all the time. Like if I tell, like in a different project, like some PL SQL project, if I tell it to edit a package, what will it use? It will use find and grab to really search through my files. It will not read every file. It will just do a search and then find only the files that matter. It will also not read the whole file. It will use like searches into the file and just reads parts of it. That's all optimization in the sense that you don't want to give it too much input, not too much text, because this is just inefficient and also actually hurtful. So yeah, applying the same context, again, think create page with that. What if we have a CLI that just gets some parameters like create a new page, interactive grid. This is my source. Is it editable? Yes. and then this CLI actually writes the file. It has internally some templates like the create page wizard. And by that, the AI does not even need to learn the APEXlang syntax. It will just trust that the CLI will do. It will just need to call the CLI in the right way. Yeah, like UC Apex ships also with a few thin skills just to teach it how to use the CLI, but the core difference is in the skills we do not teach APEXlang the whole way, just how to use the CLI. So yeah, okay, what's this now? So for example, this is again a CLI, you just install it, it's free, I will show that later. Install it on your machine, it's there, and then you have a few commands. The first one is to make the agent or yourself, you can also use it of course, understand your app. So there's an overview section that lists pages, components, etc. Then you can list all the pages. You can go into one page. You can also see a page as a tree, not just as a list of components like you would use that in a page designer where like you have a sub region and a child region, etc. You can search through it. That's also crucial. So any term, any column, search through the whole app, and it will just give you the meaningful components where it's used, like a column or a region or a page. You can search or go through supporting objects like LOVs, etc. So yeah, but the more crucial ones is the scaffolding or creating things. So for example, this is now the create page wizard from a CLI standpoint. Use the Apex create page, ID 10, name, employees, type, interactive report. Okay, actually here it's missing the SQL. But yeah, and that's already doing a lot in the background. So I will quickly jump into the documentation because I have a better example in here. So here create, and here are all the create commands. As you can see, Apex is quite complex. So it took quite a while to create this all. But let's see, for example, form, region form here. So this is, for example, how it could look. Use the Apex, we point to our app, create region form, page number, name, which table, some column definitions, which is the primary key column, and these are all the parameters. Behind the scenes, it will create just this whole thing here. And this is not just here like the region itself, of course, it will also create all the page items, this page items, and of course, a save button, a create button, a delete button, you know it. If you have used the create page wizard, you know what it all creates. And of course, also the processes for like fetching the data and for saving the data. And yeah, if you now compare that, this is the thing that the AI has to come up with. Just a one-liner, right? Okay, I mean, if I'm a human, I would write it in multiple lines, but it's not that much. And on the other hand, if you the skills approach, it will need to learn about all the syntax to be able to create all of these itself. It needs to manually write that down into a file. And also think about output tokens. So the text that the LM generates, that's the expensive ones. So you want to save on having the LM output less text. Yeah, and there are some validation metrics. So of course it can make some mistakes, and there are internal ones, but it also allows to just use the SQL Apex validate. Yeah, so it works well with agents. So it's a binary. So the agent can just use it. You can use it as well. I optimize it for compact output. So normally it outputs JSON, because then it can also like use JQ. That's also a CLI program where it can even filter through the JSON, or Tune. That's a new notation that's token optimized in a way. So the agent can pick for himself what he wants. Yeah, I explain it to you like the agent just calls the CLI with parameters. It never writes the whole file. And yeah, it creates a whole stack like the form I just showed you. Okay, so this was my idea. And so I put it to the test. So I did some benchmarks. I literally did the same. So I just made some sample tables and data like for the World Cup that's now starting in a few weeks. We're all excited. So I gave it some tables, and I told the agent to create an Apex app from it, for like browsing the teams, groups, venues, schedule, etc. Drill into the teams, submit predictions. So you can also, like with your friends, predict scores, etc. And then I used Claude Sonnet 4.6. I'm using Claude Code, so that was the one. I also didn't use the big one because it's more expensive. Just wanted to see the default one. And then I did the same task with the CLI and with the APEXlang skills, the Oracle ones. And I said, only you are done when it validates to SQL. So not cheating in the sense that it comes up with something, but it does not work. It needs to iterate until it's really a working Apex app. And yeah, let's see how it did. So yeah, as you can see, it's actually working quite well. So again, like this, I tried to make it really 100% fair. There's no additional, like it's the same prompt. It's really just for the ones I said use UC Apex, and for the other one I said use the skills. And UC Apex is double as fast, uses less context. That's the whole conversation that's going on. That's the context. And the output tokens, again, remember that's the expensive ones. So the context includes output tokens, but just the output tokens is also like marginally little smaller. And if you would pay, I have a subscription, but there's a way if you would just use the API pricings as that, it's even more than double as cheap. So I would say that's quite good, right? It's in the overall, if you can save double the money with just a small change, then that's definitely a big efficiency gain. So yeah, but let's see what it actually did, right? So here are some screenshots, and I have to say the difference is not big. It's just, and that's the cool thing, it's a tool, right? It's not changing how you do something. It's just, it's more efficient with it. But funnily here with the APEXlang skills on the homepage, it did recreate the navigation menu with like a dynamic region. So it created some HTML templates. Fine. I mean, yeah, not that useful, but fine. On this other one, it created this. Keep in mind, there's always some randomness. Maybe next time it would also do completely different with this tool. Yeah, then the prediction page is also like fairly similar. So here it created this edit region where here it created a link. Like here it says match ID it says versus. Here it's home team, away team. That's just preference, I would say. Finally, in the APEXlang skills, for example, it used a wrong query. Like there was a row num that has to be in the group by. Fine, I added that, not a big deal. And yeah, but actually one thing was really a bug in the Apex skills version. And this is actually a symptom of inefficiency. And you have to think, like agents or like LLMs in general, they have a context window, meaning that you can't put unlimited text into it. So it's like a RAM or like the brain capacity of a model. And if it's full, then it's game over. Your system ran out of RAM, error. But even when it's not full, if it's filling up, the quality of the generated tokens decreases substantially. So that's a big thing. Like, for example, the coding agents, they do this compacting sometimes. If you have a long conversation, they compact, they summarize all the context so it's smaller again, so there's more space again. And they do this way before the actual hard limit on context, just because the more context there is, the worse the generated text will be. And in this case, this is definitely such an issue that's hallucination. It did not know the Oracle SQL syntax anymore. So it did here like item equals and then subquery, and this does not work. You need to select into. And Claude, of course, knows this, but because there was so much going on with the APEXlang and the skills, etc., it will just decrease in quality. Again, simple to fix. Also, I needed to add an exception handle that if there is no score yet, it would also raise an error otherwise. But yeah, just a symptom. With the skills approach, you really also get more hallucinations, unfortunately. Yeah, then, okay, I said create app is a big step. Okay, maybe let's do another benchmark. Just adding a few pages, so like changing the homepage to add cards or metric cards and add 2 admin pages. Edit match results and see all predictions. And similar approach, almost more than half as efficient. The overall task was smaller, but again, like even the output tokens here, you can see that's especially the difference of the CLI will just call the CLI, that's the output tokens. The CLI will then actually write the file versus the APEXlang skills approach, where the AI has to write the files. And that's a huge margin here, and that's a big price increase here also. All right, does this make sense? So yeah, these are the cards. And here I would say definitely the APEXlang skills is a bit more beautiful. I think it knows better the template options, meaning how to make them look nice next to each other. Here, this is a bit ugly with like 4 cards and then the one being on the next row. And yeah, the pages are again similar. UC Apex tends to do more interactive grids. So these two were now interactive grids instead of interactive reports with a form page. But that's a question of taste, and I left it open for interpretation. I didn't say use this one. I said just create this page, and it was up to the agent to decide how to do it.
But
All
Philip,
right.
maybe here we can also say that like it's still up for the developer to decide what they want, right?
Yeah.
So if you use APEXlang skill or if you see Apex, like it's still up to the developer what your preference is, what makes most sense in your use case. And the better you can describe it, the better the AI will make a decision, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Okay, so general takeaway from the benchmark: this CLI approach is 2 times as fast, 2 times as cheap, and also smarter because of the context limitation. Yeah, a tool beats reteaching the language every session. And like also like I have actually here, this is a benchmark, I have it still open, I just saw. And here like I started, this was a second, add some pages here. And you can see here, this is right side is the skills approach. Let me start by reading, let me explore, let me look, let me read, let me look, let me read, let me check. It does not show the timing here, but after this is already a few minutes done. And here it's using the CLI. So let me start by exploring the current app structure. Use the Apex overview. It gets an overview. Okay, list the pages. Okay, look at the home page. I ask it to change this, right? Okay, now let me check the authorization. Again, it calls use the Apex list authorization. And this is much quicker than always going through the file system, etc. And finally, like here, now it was able to a schema region type metric card. So here it created, schema region, that was to see how it looks. But here create region help and then create region metric card. So this is how the difference is. And here, like, you can see the agent literally writing the files here. And that's the costly output tokens. All right.
So Philip, there's a question from John, like how are you figuring out what to write to the APX files from the command line?
So behind the scenes, these are basically parameterized templates, meaning like, let's look at another example. Cards. Like you can see here, like region, and then this is a template, like this is what comes from the input, what's the region ID, or actually it's derived from the name. So this is a placeholder, this is a placeholder. Type cards is always the same. Source. I make it a give less option than there actually are. So for example, for complex regions, I say you have to give me a SQL query. There's also the source type of give me a table name just, but I think that's just for humans to be more low code, right? This was added for humans. No need to give that to an agent. Just give him less options. So that's also less complexity. And AI agents are perfectly well at coming up with a query. So yeah. Here this query, here's a placeholder again. Sequence it can change. Otherwise, it will also, like, there are some smart things in a sense. When you add a region to a page, it will just get the maximum sequence and then add 10 to it, like the Apex page designer does, for example. Appearance, that's just defaulted. Primary key you need to pass, and title is Oh yeah, that's the configuration of the thing. So this does not use many of the configurations, but as you can see here, these are all the parameters, and this gets quite complicated for something like cards. Cards is a quite complicated component, but that's also something we need to figure out. Maybe I need to fine tune it and then remove some, and only in edge cases let it give some. But for example, classic report here has, for example, much less, like the columns, column span, that's layout, yeah, ID, name, page, sequence, slot, SQL. Pretty simple, right? Here also, I don't support all the templates yet. I don't know. Maybe in the future, maybe I'm leaning towards template components are the new way to do custom layouts. Yeah, not sure.
Like maybe there's also like an interesting thing, like the way we test it. So you can test like using APEXlang with AI in multiple ways. Yeah, like you can start from 100% scratch and like what does it do then? And you can let the AI figure out. So you can export an existing application, put it on your file system, and then just tell AI, this is my Apex app where you find APEXlang, and it will learn itself like what it is and how it can do things. And this is actually like, yeah, I'll come back to that when Philippe was talking about template components. Like the AI was learning itself how to build the template components. Like it's insane. And like this command line way of doing things is like one way. Probably we want to enhance it with like a memory bank of things that you use a lot in your project where it can find extra things, or do a combination with the skills. So yeah, Philippe, sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. It's more dynamic. It's fun that way. But yeah, you said examples. That's actually also what I do have here. That's a code base. It's like I have 20 to 30, more like 25 apps that I just exported. Some weird, some normal, some sample apps, etc. And that's just how I test it, etc. Let it run over that. Yeah.
And we did multiple tests. Like we did like just from the data model, use the APEXlang skills and build an entire app 100%. So from scratch. Then we also did like use the existing app that we already have for a long time and the last upgrade was 24.1, and then upgrade that only by using APEXlang. And then like how would it behave like that? And like there are differences like that. In one case, it already has examples, but they're outdated or might be outdated. Like, so there's a whole roam of things that we did to test things, but like this seems to really work, this new approach, together with skills and guidance. So you would still need to add your own skills and flavors on top of this to make it really good.
Yeah. And also like some insights again from the development. What I also learned is like I used, of course, much Cloud Code to build this tool, just one feature at a time, not too much. And then I built it. Then I used a new agent and said, use it, create like this thing. And then I let it use it. I didn't use the skills, the Oracle skills. I extrude them exactly to see only how it does with my tool. And after it, I asked it, what are the shortcomings? What was not good? And he said, yeah, I was missing a tool to do this. And I said, yeah, great. Feature request, write it into the to-do file. And then again, I spawn the next Claude to add that feature. So you have to be really creative on how to use these cool agentic features of coding agents to help you really develop your tools. Yeah. Okay. But big asterisk. My tests are limited. And you probably have some apps I have never imagined in my life, and probably in these it will not do well. That's okay. You can maybe drive development to on GitHub. You can create an issue, for example, it worked out well this way, and I can implement it maybe. Also, like fine details, like changing the niche attributes. That's the thing. I don't want to completely offer everything. Then the CLI would again be as complex as the whole skills. That would defeat the purpose. like for example, like styling, for example, etc. That's probably still the best way to do with APEXlang, where it fully understands the syntax and is able to do these in well state. Yeah. Also, the biggest difference is, again, is what you give the agent as input. With that, the context, he's able to just work. So if you don't give a nice or a good prompt, then it will also, with the best tool, not be able to do something great. So don't be too ambitious. Explicitly ask what you want. Also, multiple iterations are better than one giant task, not the whole month's work into one prompt, just a small feature at a time, and then you will come closer to the goal. And then also always start a new conversation, like really clear the existing context. Again, if context grows, the performance of the agent declines and also the costs will skyrocket. And yeah, be creative. And I think there's something Udemy can show in that regard.
Oh yeah. Um, how can I share my screen again, Philip?
It's visible again.
Oh yeah, it's already visible. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is where you have like a good developer and a good designer can come up with like something really good, and AI just amplifies that. Like I'm not the best one in design, so I just used AI to build a standard Apex application. Like this is a standard Apex application, the World Cup application. It was upgraded just by using AI, but then like it didn't look great, and like this is like old school, and so Kevin saw me struggling with this. I said, yeah, I will use AI to make it look nice, but then you still have to have an ID. And Kevin said, like, oh, let me do it. So he came up with this version. Like, you don't even see that this is Apex anymore. And this was done 100% using AI. So there's no human interruption or like Kevin did something with CSS. No. So it's all with AI. But it's interesting. Like I asked, like, how did you do that now? And so he wrote, or he let AI help him write an article. What actually happened? And I will publish this on my blog, like in the coming days. But like so the starting point was an existing application that I showed you, like my version of it. And then instead of just telling AI make this look nice, he said describe the app. So AI describes the app, and then he puts it in Claude Design. And Claude Design created HTML files and like a new 100% design, nothing to do with Apex. Then he said, like, okay, use this design, give it as a context, and then ask Claude to build this with APEXlang. So this is like step 2, APEXlang to the unlock. Like we hook up the connection to the database so it can do things itself. And this is where the template component skill came into play. Philippe, like on your blog, you released a template component skill of like a few months ago, or is it already a few years ago? But this was using the old school, right? Like this was HTML and like standard stuff. Now it's everything with APEXlang. So the AI, what it did is like it said, oh, I need to produce this look and feel. And it was teaching itself how to build template components. So it's very interesting. It built the plugins. So I can show you behind the scenes. Like here, you can see that this is AI. It wasn't updated by anybody. So here, it built all those plugins, all template components. So then it verified its own work, and then it was like constantly fixing itself. And so Kevin had a really cool idea. Like he told Claude, like use the headless browser and test yourself, because like this is what I was doing too. I said like, this doesn't look great. This doesn't look great. And then like, but in my case, he didn't have the context of it, and I had to like give him more context. But Kevin just said like, use the browser, built in browser, and then go with it. So then the agent figured everything out itself. He let a commit go, and I can actually show that too. So here you see all the commits. Like this is like me doing stuff, and then Kevin took over, and then he is like doing better stuff. Um, so, but you see all the commits, and like the interesting thing is like author co-author by, and Kevin used Opus 4.7. I was using Opus 4.8. So it's all like doing this in the back. And then here, like all the bugs that AI found and what it had to do, like how it fixed it. So here, there's a whole write-up that we will publish, what worked, what didn't work, um, and then like human. But like in my case, like without AI, we were never able to build a site like this fast and this good looking. Like, uh, well, it's taste, but I think it doesn't look like a standard Apex app. So I don't know, Philippe, if you wanted to add
No,
something.
that's cool. I mean, definitely would have taken ages to do that just manually the normal way before.
Yeah, like remember we had like what was this thing of Vincent, like where you could work
Yeah,
locally and then
material. Ah, the
yeah,
Apex Nitro. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Nitro. Like this is the old way of doing things, and like now it's like insane how well it can do different things. But again, like I wasn't able to do this because I didn't give the right prompts to have this design. And so yeah, this is where if you have a good designer in the team, like he can build really cool stuff. Philippe, we also have some questions that we didn't
Oh,
answer
yeah.
yet.
Should I
So
start
what?
with one?
Yeah,
Or
you start. Yeah, go.
yeah, I've also scrolled it. When can we expect LLMs to understand APEXlang without needing all the skills? So I said years. I'm not sure if I would bet money on it. But the thing is, we're a small niche, let's say that. Maybe Oracle can convince the big AI providers maybe to put out, or like maybe Oracle needs to do a big training sample set. Like it's all about the
Yeah.
available data, right? And most Apex developers don't share stuff on GitHub, for example. GitHub is probably the biggest source of training material. The more apps are available, the faster. But also, there's a small difference, I think. Like, for example, JavaScript. JavaScript is a super simple language from a syntax standpoint. So you have just a few keywords. But then, for example, if you do a React app, it's that you it's HTML. LLMs know HTML very well, and then the little bit of React is just a small thing. But APEXlang is a very, very, very unique language in itself. It has so many keywords, and like interactive grid, the region type interactive grid has so much behind it that the LLMs need to learn, etc. It's not just the JavaScript. It's a complicated representational language. So maybe years, maybe Oracle will train their own model. Who knows?
I, I think Philippe is just until the next model hits. So when they do the retraining on the big model, then it will pick up all the blocks. Like I sometimes see that AI is going to John's block, to my block, and my block is outdated. So to Matt's block, like so it's already doing things live, but until the next model training. But this is less than a year, I think, that we have this big new thing. So I think
Yeah.
it's faster than we think because there's so much blogging going on now. So the AI will pick it up faster.
Let's see who's right.
Okay.
So next
Uh,
question. Have you tried using this on exported pre-existing app version, generating a new one? Yeah, I think I showed it also in the second benchmark. My ambition is definitely that it does both well. There are a lot of create commands, but also a lot of edit commands. Yeah, let me know if it doesn't work well in some cases. Okay, next question. I'm also curious on the success rate with apps with minimal business logic in the front end versus the opposite. I would say the more logic is in the database, not reading the app, the easier because, yeah, it's just less complexity. And complexity is always bad also for LLMs, I would say. Right?
yeah.
The AI generated code validation is really helpful. It could be useful for automating part of the PR code review process. Yeah, like part of it builds on the SQL CL Apex validate command. And other part I actually also like. The thing is, because the official APEXlang language specification with the grammar and the syntax tree is not available, I think there could be still some parsing issues, and I don't know everything that well, but I also have an internal validate command, and there I think I added also some things that were not in the other one yet. For example, like the typical security issue is like you have a button with a validation authorization scheme, but it's not on the process. So it's just a button that is hidden, but the process you could still trigger if you know the right command. And that's the thing I can just easily check if it's a parsed language now. I have a meta model in the CLI that understands, okay, this button is connected to this process, and it just checks are the authorization schemes synchronized, for example. And there's a lot of room for improvements in this regard. We have many ideas that will take much more time, but in the long term, I would think that a CLI or approach that can easily also be added to an CI is the right way to make sure that your code is right or your app is right. Next to DB Linter, maybe that's our code checking product. That's also a CLI, for example, and that you can like analyze your SQL or PL/SQL code if that's following quality standards.
But it also comes down to your how you define the skills and like how you do agentic workflow. So this is where you have one agent doing the code and the other agent is doing the testing. And ideally, it can even be Claude can do the coding and Codex can do the testing, because otherwise you might have blind spots. So the other interesting thing is that you can, what Kevin did is like, he didn't use, for example, Playwright. He used just a browser and give Claude, in this case, access to the browser, and then it would figure things out. So in our skills, like we define success only if validations are correct. So, and how you do validation, yeah, for packages, this is using or PL/SQL code, dblinter, the validation Apex validate, but then you also have the rules like ape rules, which can check your naming convention, and then you have like a specific agent doing the checking. So for security, for performance, for like all those different things.
Okay, so some people are already asking where can I get it, and I will drop the link to the documentation in the chat. And Jackie, can you maybe put it in YouTube if you're still there? I haven't YouTube open currently, but yeah, if you go, there's an installation section, and it's just a single download. If it's Go binary, so you need to check for your own architecture. So macOS for Apple Silicon or Intel, Linux, AMD, ARM, or Windows. And yeah, in the GitHub releases, you have the binaries here. You can just download them, and here's some instructions on how to use them. Add them to your path, so you can run it, or the agent can use it from anywhere, doesn't have to point to the binary. You can check if that works, and then the agent can already use it. Then you have to still, in your project, use the Apex skills sync, and also in this GitHub here, there are the skills, and it will just download them. These tell the AI how to use the CLI. And then also what I did is adding a little bit part in your Claude MD or agents.md. This is the file that the tool always reads your agent. And it also, like at some point, always use this tool, etc. Yeah, just copy that, and then you can get started. Oh, I have it open, so I can also paste it on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. It's another question. The second benchmark was part of styling that cost. No, this was just creating new pages. I haven't done a big benchmark on styling changes. I would still advise, like, you would still probably want to use a page designer to do fine tuning and making everything look right, arrange things. I think sometimes it's harder to explain an agent what you want than just doing it yourself in Page Designer. Do you think that Oracle will make their own version of UC Apex? Probably. Currently not. So let's see.
Neil is on the call, so we can ask him.
Yeah, Neil, I want to join the call. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right, I think I'm done. Any questions left? Again, this is now weird. If you're on LinkedIn, you probably hear me asking this in 3 minutes, and then by the time you hear this, we already stopped the stream.
Maybe what we can do is answer the questions on LinkedIn afterwards too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, documentation, really check it out. Yeah, also like everything is documented, and you can also, of course, use it yourself as a human. You have to. It's harder for humans to learn the syntax, but like it's like the search, for example, is also, I guess, probably quite useful. Like I already use it in a few cases. What is your opinion on developing a template application for the use by the LM? Oh,
That's a good idea, actually. Like, give it an example, then that is a good idea. Because, like, Philippe, we have to start from a starter application, right? To use UC Apex.
If you export your existing one, that's also fine.
But if you do, like, you start from a create application, even if it is just create application, and then you use that as the base to start your UC Apex.
It has a command to create an empty application. And yeah, but like I agree, like if you have company specific things, like you always use the same auth scheme, sure, I would say that's just copy and paste that into your new project, and then it will be able to work from that. Good idea. All right. Thank you, everybody who participated.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have something still to say, Dimitri?
No. Thank you, Philippe, for bringing this to the world.
We are at Kscope. If anybody of you is, come say hi and we can talk about this.
Yeah, and like sometimes we get questions about like how to use AI and like what is the best way and do you provide support? And so on our website we will have like a UI an AI readiness scan soon. So this is something we will offer, and then we also offer like a support package for this if you want some help with it. So we do offer that.
All plugins created by UC Apex are TC. I'm not sure what TC is. Sorry. But yeah, we can maybe answer that later on in the chat. All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Says
Have a
take
nice
care.
evening.
No, TC, take care. So if the AI creates a template component, if we take care of it, I don't know if we take care of it, but your AI can take care of it. But if, like, I guess with a support package, then we would just help you using UC Apex. And then we can always do consulting if you need help with like other things.
Or template components. Yeah, I think that's no. It can create. Currently, it does not know how to create template components, but soon. But it creates normal Apex apps, not just template components. All right. Bye bye.